Ba da 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 da. Hello everyone, my name's Stonsey Boy and welcome back to Reading with Stonsey. Today we are reading more WIllodEeen, but today we are reading pages 59 to 80, 21 pages in total, for those who can't do math, chapters 12 to chapter 14. So, pretty decently long today, though this book is decently short. Yeah, I don't know what else to say except now we're on part 2, so that's gonna be cool. So, without further ado, let's begin. Part 2. The creature takes in her new world. Things to touch, to smell, to taste. Breezes filled with possibilities. She glances behind her. A long, flat, bushy part is attached to her rear. She extends her paws. Sharp, curved things appears. She startles. They're scary to see, but apparently they belong to her too. She tries to stand on a wooden saddle of her quiet horse. She plops to the ground, but lands unhurt. Blink, blink. If she closes her eyes, the world goes away. If she opens them, they're all there again. Color and light and shadow. She takes a step. It's hard to move 4 feet at the same time. Maybe 2 and 2 will work. She walks back and forth, trying possibilities. Right front, left back, left front, right back. Oomph. She topples over to her snout. Couldn't someone be explaining the world to her? Shouldn't there be others nearby for warmth or comfort? She tries to a tree with blue and silver leaves, long and twirly. She's drawn to it, though she doesn't know why. It means something good, something necessary. She waddles over to the knotty base of the tree and sits. She's already tired. Becoming is hard work, but she cannot close her eyes. The world is such a dangerous place. Somehow, she knows that much at least. Chapter 12. May and Bertie were still snoring when I woke early the next morning. I dressed quick as I could. Mornings could be chilly now that autumn had arrived. Then threw on my coat. Lazy Doozoo, always last to awaken, still dozed. And the table sat a small round cake. Listening to one side of the squat candle in the center was kind of May and Bertie to remember my birthday when I almost forgotten it myself. The cake had taken time and thought and sugar, and we didn't have to leave to waste. I rushed outside and grabbed 3 logs from the wood pile near the porch. My breath made clouds. On the way back, I noticed something sitting in the old rocker near the door. I peered closer. It looked like one of the creations I'd seen Connor sell at the fair. What did he call them? His puzzlers? I dropped my logs. The sculpture was made of bits and pieces of nature. Bark and reeds, mud and leaves, twigs and stones, spiderwebs and glistening drops of sea sap seemed to be holding it all together. But it wasn't a hummingbird, no, it would be only one thing. And it was perfect in every detail, right down to the twisty tusk made of spiring reeds, the spiny flat tail that layered pine needle quills, green haynut silvers for eyes. It was a screecher. It looked right and left. Was Connor still nearby when he had left this? It was dusting in the frost on it. So perhaps he'd been waiting here for a while. I left the logs behind and carried the sculpture inside. Gently, I set the table, and then I pulled up a chair and stared. He had it all right, every last detail. How could he remember such a precision? And how did he create such beauty? For it was beautiful, even though it was a screecher. But why had he made it? I'd never seen such a kind person to make things. I lacked the patience, and, to be honest, the talent. I suppose there was some sense in creating practical things. The way May knitted shawls and fight under the winter chill. The way Ma had cooked meat pies for supper. The way Pa had made a hen house out of a discarded lumber. The way he had made a home together. A home that was no more. But this served no purpose, and yet it made me smile. I stroked the creature's nose. I might never see another screecher, but at least I have this. I felt wrong somehow, being pleased by a gift from a virtual stranger. I didn't like the feeling it made me beholden, needy. Connor didn't know me, not really. I ran my fingers over the bow tied around the beast's neck, over its frightening claws, its dangerous tail. I hadn't a clue why Connor had left this for me. I didn't understand my own feelings most days. I couldn't begin to figure out why other people did the things they did. Maybe it didn't matter. I wanted it. I needed it to be mine, and it was. Chapter 13. We decided to have cake for breakfast. May and Bertie were like that, not much for the usual polite rules of a home and hearth, which suited me fine. They were both delighted by the screecher Connor had made. May held it up to the light, examining it from every angle. I still can't get over the details on the thing, she marveled. Be sure to you say thank you when you see Connor next, Bertie reminded me. That's a great deal of work and kindness. I will, I said, although secretly I hope I wouldn't run into Connor anytime soon. I had a hard enough time just saying hello and goodbye to people. Make a wish, May instructed as she lit the candle. Doozoo, who finally roused himself, half hopped, half flew onto the table, eyeing the cake hopefully. I looked at Bertie and May at their expectant, kind faces, lined by life. Thank you, I said, for making it. It's very nice. No, it isn't, said Bertie. It looks like a dying toadstool. She lifted her bony shoulders. What can I say? Barking bores me to tears. All that work, and before you know it, it is in one end and out the other. I'm sure it's wonderful, May patted my back. Go on now. I wish for something it's good for the soul. But what did I want? I tried not long for things. Even if you got what you wanted, it would just be snatched away in an instant. Out of nowhere, I thought of Sir Zert. Lying in the blanket of leaves, the fresh tears came, bothersome eyes. I hated the way they spouted water so easily, betraying me at every turn. Oh, dear me, said May. The waterfall has returned. She dabbed at my cheeks with her handkerchief. I'm not sad exactly, I sniffed. I'm mad. These are mad tears. Somehow, that seemed more acceptable. Angry tears have magic in them, said Bertie. I rolled my eyes. She's right, said May. There's a great power with tears born of anger. May and Bertie were always saying things like that. I have half a mind to bottle those up, said Bertie, and she gave a brief smile. Bertie's smiles were often uncertain, more like frickle frowns. I would just grab an empty vial. Could you manage some more? Now, Bertie, don't be greedy. May dipped a finger into the icing of the cake and popped it in her mouth. Those tears belong to WIllodeen, and she may need them. What's the point of being mad? I crossed my arms over my chest. No one cares what I think. I'm just an 11-year-old child. I had to catch myself before saying 10. You're an 11-year-old person, May corrected. Well, I'm not exactly a grown-up. Piffle, said May. I second her piffle, said Bertie. Grown-ups are just boring former children. May tried to scoop up another bit of icing, and Bertie went to her wanting look. And Bertie went, but grown-ups, I persisted, run the world. Well, we're not exactly doing a first-rate job of it, are we? Said May. Bertie squeezed my hand. Don't stop being angry, WIllodeen. It's part of those who... you are. You see the world differently. You care. That's a gift. It sure doesn't feel like a gift. It was my turn to poke out the icing. Why is everything so complicated? Because we're humans, and humans are notoriously difficult, said May. She winked at Bertie, ourselves included. Bertie leveled a finger at me. Yes, WIllodeen, even you. They were humoring me, I knew, trying to nudge me out of a bad mood. Now, my dear, said May, if you don't make a wish, I shall make one for you. My stomach is grumbling, and the candle's down to a nub. I couldn't think of a single wish, but May was clearly hungry. Closed my eyes, took a deep breath, just at one last annoying tear made a path down my cheek. If only angry tears really did hold magic, I thought. I was close to a wish as I could come. I blew the candle and we began eating with Duzu's enthusiastic help. Chapter 14. We finished early, every last morsel of cake. Duzu was so full he promptly went back to sleep on my pillow, his belly swollen. I headed outside to feed the animals and gather eggs. To my stock, there was Connor, leading over the fence to pat Rufus, our black-bellied goat. My next puzzler is going to have goat eyes, he said. I love how strange they are, the pupils. Why are you here, I asked, and then I realized I must have sounded. Thank you for the gift. Could you tell what it was? I couldn't help laughing. Could I tell? It was perfect. You got every detail right. Connor seemed relieved. Oh, good. I was in a hurry and I made it last night. I wasn't sure about the tail. Last night, I repeated. You made that in one night? You said today was your birthday, and if I thought... He trailed off. It's really wonderful. I moved past him, grabbed the wicker basket, and leaned into the coop. The hens and dibby ducks collected annoyance as I gathered their smooth, warm eggs. Actually, I'm here because last night I remember the blue willow grove near the northwest ridge, Connor said. I emerged from the coop. Just a few trees hidden in the taller firs. Do you know it? No, I said, frowning. I thought I knew every inch of the hills around, perchance. Well, there was an abandoned den there. Fox, maybe. Didn't seem like it would been used in a while, but since it was near those willows, and sometimes I even see creatures digging around the roots, he paused. I thought maybe we could take a look. He would certainly check, but I didn't like the "we" part. Doubt there's anything there, I said. I spent months searching all around there. I glanced down a basket of eggs. The stripped dibby duck eggs were my favorite. Well then, I turned back toward the cottage. Thank you again. To my annoyance, instead of leaving, Connor followed me. I said a proper thank you. Shouldn't he go now? I was proved to accepting a gift, but just led to trouble. I opened the cottage door, and May was there sweeping. Well, she said, hello. She looked at me expectantly, so I said, May, this is Connor Burke. She made the screecher. The artist, she exclaimed. Oh, it's not art, really, Connor said with a shy smile. It's just a thing I like to do. Keeps my hands dizzy. And of course it's art. You created it, and you enjoy making it. Connor rubbed his chin. Well, yes, I guess I did. May sat aside her broom, brushed her hands with her skirt. Well, there you go. Then, art. Come on, come in. May ushered Connor inside, and I followed reluctantly. Bertie, she called. It's the screecher artist. I took my time placing the eggs I gathered into a large bowl. I didn't like having Connor in the cottage. It was my territory, even if it wasn't my true home in that way. It was like any smart wild animal. What else do you do when you're not making screechers? Asked Bertie, who was busy preparing a liniment rub I like to write stories and poems about how then and sketch. A poet and an artist, Bertie exclaimed. The world could use more of you. Amen to that, said May. And I could use less of you, I thought. I made a loud throat-clearing noise. Well, Connor said, I suppose I should go. There's a village council meeting, and Father likes me to attend. He's one of them counselors. He says it's good practice. Good practice for what? Bertie asked as he ground rosemary leaves into a pestle. Connor shook his head. Becoming him, I suppose. He works over at the lumber mill. Ah, said May. And what's your plan as well? May, Bertie chided. You're doing it again. Pray, Messer, palm to a chest, finding a fence. Moi? Doing what? Poking and prodding where you have no business. That's all right, Connor said with a good-natured wave of hand. I don't really have a plan, not yet. There's not much of a future in making puzzlers and poems, I expect. In my experience, in our experience, May said, casting a fond glance at Bertie, it's best for all concerned if you simply go ahead and do what you're meant to be. Saves valuable time. I cleared my throat again. I was not person given subtly. Well, happy birthday, WIllodeen, Connor said, turning toward the door. Thank you again, Connor, I said. Relieved to see him leaving, I managed what I hoped would be a grateful smile, but just then, Bertie slammed her palm on the table with such force that I jumped. Here's a thought, she cried, waving a pestle in the air. Why don't you attend the council meeting with Connor? I looked over my shoulder, but apparently she was talking to me. She might as well have said, why don't you borrow a pair of wings and fly to the moon? Let me play among the stars. See me what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. I love Frank Sinatra. What I love more is the fact that today we read pages 59 to 80, chapters 12 to 14. They were very cute chapters today. You know, this book is... I can't get the reading on this book, you know what I mean? It's like, 1 second it's all this happiness, and the next second it's all this, like, weird mumbo-jumbo. But next time we'll be reading chapters 15 to 19, pages 81 to... I'm just gonna hold it even though I have the numbers... 10. 81 to 10? Well, you must be lying, Stonsey, so ka-dook. Boop. Yep, pages 81 to 109. But you don't care about that. That's a next episode problem. Because you look towards the future, you understand the future, but you don't have to concern yourself on it for the moment, unless it's the environment. Because today, we're going to the... Learning Corner of the day. Doing it up, Stonsey's way. Pop. Today we're learning about the wire-haired pointing griffon. Freaking sweet. So, the wire-haired pointing griffon is very fluffy. It's a weird breed, actually. It's kind of fluffy, kind of not fluffy. And yes, that is the same breed. I guess their hair gets more molted as they grow. I couldn't tell you. I've never held one of these dogs in my life. I've never seen one of these dogs in my life. Also, did you guys ever notice that in the background there's a Bulbasaur? I just realized that now, and I'm the one who bloody made it! Anyways, before we can make fun of these dogs and their wilting hair and how they have everywhere, we must know the history, for if you ever want to, in your life, make fun of something or learn about something in an argument, because arguments are very prominent in this world, you must know its history, or else you may say some pseudoscience. So, today, for the history of the wire-haired pointing griffon here, the history is unlike the development of most breeds. Most of the development of the wire-haired pointing griffon was deliberate and fairly well documented, beginning in the middle 1800s with the creation of the Cherville griffon here, which was subsequently crossed with the setter and pointer. It was Edward Corthalis of Holland, however, who was credited for developing and refining the breed. In fact, the griffon is still known as the Corthalis griffon throughout most of the world. He began his mission in 1874, crossing 20 dogs, representing 7 breeds: Griffons, Spaniels, Water Spaniels, German and French Pointers, and a setter. Corthalis traveled extensively in France and popularized the new breed whenever he went. Wherever it was the field activity, bench show, or business meeting, through his French connections, this new breed became adopted in France, where it gained a reputation as a deliberate, careful hunter with a good nose. It was in France that the breed found a stronghold, causing people to consider it as a French breed despite its Dutch roots. By 1887, the breed type was stable and a breed standard was published. The first show classes for the breed were offered in 1888 in England, although at the time it was referred to as a Russian setter or retriever. Apparently, any well-furred dog was assumed to be of Siberian origin. In fact, the first griffin registered in America was registered as a Russian setter in 1887. Its popularity grew steadily, only it halted in the Second World War. After the war, its reputation was an ideal dog for the walking hunter again, gained a new popularity. But the initiation of competitive field trials, which is much faster-paced breeds dominated, caused many competitive hunters to turn away from the griffon. Despite its low numbers, the wire-haired pointing griffon was loyal followers who valued its excellent abilities not only as a pointer and retriever, but also as a versatile and loyal companion. In fact, it is often called the supreme gun dog. Wow! So not only did this dog is a crossbreed of every dog we've already learned already, but it's also considered one of the most supreme of the dogs. Isn't that neat? But now you know about this cool dog's really neat history. So now you want to know the background, the temperament. What the heck is the temperament? What is this dog gonna bite my kids? Don't know. Don't care. Just kidding about the don't care part, but don't know. Truly don't. So the temperament of the wire-haired pointing griffon here is that the wire-haired pointing griffon is skilled field dog, pointing and retrieving with a deliberate style, generally staying within a hunter's gun range. It combines independent action with the ability directed by a hunter. It is equally adept family pet, absolutely devoted, willing to please, amiable, and often comical. It's generally friendly towards strangers, other dogs, and pets. Now, you know that this dog is kind with kids and humans and, well, really anyone. So what's the upkeep? How am I going to keep this dog as kind and happy as it is? Well, the upkeep of the wire-haired pointing griffon here is that the wire-haired pointing griffon needs daily exertion, either in the form of jogging, games, or a run in the field. It particularly enjoys swimming, and it can live outdoors in temperate weather as long as it's warm shelter. But it does best when allowed to be both indoor and outdoor dog. Its harsh coat needs combing and brushing once or twice a week. Plus, hand stripping and remove dead hair twice a year. Its ears need regular cleaning, plucking with the hair in the canal in order to avoid ear problems. Now, if you are a child, please cover your ears. If you are a teenager or an adult, please grab a notebook or take notes with your mind. Because the health of the wire-haired pointing griffon, and the worst part of this video in my opinion, is that their major concerns are nothing. Minor concerns are CHD, otis externia, entropin, and extropin. So, commonly, but not very commonly. It's occasionally seen with nothing. Its suggested tests are hip and eye, and lifespan is 12 to 14 years. So this seems like a very nice min-max dog. If you have a good family and stuff, get a wire-haired pointing griffon. Seriously. The form and function of this breed is its strong breed can cope with any terrain, and with lightly longer than tall and medium substance, it functions as both a retriever and a pointer, and its size and conformation reflects the compromise between the requirements of these jobs. Its gait is efficient and tirelessly with low, gat-like strides. The coat is of medium length, straight and wiry, with a fine, downy, thick undercoat. The combination provides a protection in the swampy country in which it was developed, as well as the insulation from the cold water. The abundant facial furnishings contribute to its friendly expression. I don't know if I would say this dog's friendly, but it is cute. Now, finally, we are at the final part of the video, the tier list. So, let me give you the rundown. 5, the best. 4 is better. 3 is average. 2 is worse. And 1 is the worst. Boom. Okay, so, depending on the situation. But energy level and exercise requirements is at a 4. I think this is the highest exercise requirements we've had so far. It needs a lot of exercise. It has a lot of energy. Playfulness, affection level, friendliness towards dogs, other pets, and strangers, and the ease of training are at a 3. Easy to train, very decently kind to everyone, kind of affectionate, kind of playful. The watchdog abilities at a 5, which is, I think, the highest we've had so far for a watchdog, but I could be wrong. Protection abilities at a 3, so relatively high. Grooming requirements are at a 3. So, 1 to 2 weeks of brushing, like it said. Cold tolerance is at a 3. So, can take the cold just fine. Heat tolerance is at a 2. That's new. So, probably can't take heat very well. Very fluffy. The weight of both a female and a male wire-haired pointing griffon is 50 to 60 pounds. Pretty heavy dogs. And the height of a male should be 22 to 24 inches, and a female, 20 to 22 inches. Wow. Wow, look at that next dog. The next dog is gonna be, I'm lying to you. That's right. I'm lying to you. Because there is no next dog for the... There is no next dog for this section of the dogs. We have, as a contended group, finished the first section of this book, the sporting group. We are finally done with the sorting group. So yeah, congratulations everyone. There's an ambulance or a cop car that just drove by my house. That was scary. Anyways, my dogs are going to start howling, speaking of dogs. So yeah, next time we'll be going on to the hound group. Very fun. But yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.